What's up, y'all? This is Khamsin and Essence, and you're with us tonight. This is Taboo Talks and everything in between. Tonight, we're talking about dreams and visions and how to interpret them. I know we are not the only ones. I know other people have to be wondering, why do I keep having this dream? Or why did I dream that? So I feel like this would be a good topic because both of us are big-time dreamers, and it pretty much has been accurate throughout our lives, and we help interpret each other's dreams a lot of times. So I was like, you know what? Let's do that with them, and somebody might want to call in and get us to interpret a dream for them. So we up for whatever. We will take calls. Sis, how you doing?
I'm good.
Just make
Real
sure you're on,
good.
okay? I can hear you.
Oh,
good.
yeah. You know how my phone trips over here. No, this is an excellent topic. Excellent topic. I'm really looking forward to it. Like I said, we both have really, throughout our lives, it's been very consistent. And we know that tonight we're going to speak to some of you listeners who have had dreams, certain events occur, see things before they happen, things like that. But how to really pay attention to our dreams. Because even when I wasn't in the Lord, sis, the Lord really, that's kind of how He used dreams to kind of start bringing me to Him.
Yeah,
to give me more of an awareness. Did that happen with you too? Yeah, like, and that's something that really, because it's funny because when you don't have anyone around you who's saved, or who is ministering to you, or you don't know who's praying for you or praying against you for that matter. But
right.
It's like the Lord, through Scripture, we see how He consistently spoke to people in their dreams. He would give warnings in dreams. He gave clear words of instruction in dreams. He spoke to the hearts and gave comfort in people's dreams. He gave day vision. So sometimes I think, we don't talk about it a lot. And if you talk about certain things that, that you see, people off top will kind of look at you like you're a little bit weird, or like you're a little too far out there. You're not really in God. You believe in some spooky, ooky stuff. And but it's something that's very normal in Scripture. And the Lord uses it as a gift. And I think we should learn how to discern our gifts. What did He say, sis, in Scripture? I know it says, it talks about perfecting our gifts, perfecting what the Lord has given us. And that with all our getting, we should gain understanding. So there's nothing wrong with having these conversations, sis. This is a great topic you chose tonight. Real good.
Yeah. It's just something, a part of everybody's life. And I have people that I talk to, and they're like, I had the strangest dream. And they'll think it's just a dream, and they'll start telling me. And I'm like, yo, that's blah, 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 blah. And it comes true. But before we go on, too, let me let y'all know we're thinking about moving to a new platform, probably something visual where you can see us, maybe like Google Air, Google Hangout, they call it, or something like that. So live stream, Ustream. So we're going to make sure we update y'all so y'all can follow us. And we'll have all of our old shows, we'll put them on our Taboo Talk YouTube page. All you have to do is Google Taboo Talk, and everything, all of our platforms will come up. But before we move, we will let you all know. And then y'all will get to chill with us and see all the craziness that be going on while we're on air. I think it's going to be hilarious. And I think it's going to make you all more like family, because that's how we want you to feel. But I wanted to say, the first dream that I remember, I think everybody has the first dream they remember. I know I do. But the first dream I had, I was 5 years old. And in the dream, I was walking down this hallway, and it kept getting longer. And no matter how fast I ran, I could not reach the end of this hallway. And finally, there was something chasing me, but I could not get to the end of this hallway to get away from it. And I was 5 years old, and it was one of the dreams I remember. And that dream reoccurred throughout my life. And I finally realized it's so strange. That's how I knew it had to have been a God. Because I said, someone or something was talking to me even then. When I kept having the dream, that's when I realized, no, this means something. I keep dreaming it. And I figured out that it represented the things that I strive to achieve. And a lot of times I feel like no matter how hard I'm trying, I can't achieve and I can't quite get to where I'm trying to go. And that's what that meant. And so that was one of the first dreams I remember. And I tell people, if you have a dream that reoccurs, if you have a dream that you remember having before, please write it down. If you have to sit and look at it and study it until something comes to you, pray, ask God if you're a believer. Even if you're not a believer, it's fine. God does not mind being tested and questioned. He wants to be searched. He wants us to seek him. Ask him to help you, because I'm telling you, I am such a big believer in this. There is always a force guiding us. No matter where we are, and what we believe, there is something guiding us. If you look throughout history, people like Nostradamus, he was a dreamer. And a lot of things that he dreamed, he saw things that we have now that didn't exist then. He saw technology, skyscrapers, things like that didn't exist then. So, you have to wonder about that. And it's too accurate to ignore. So keep a dream journal. That's one of the main things I would tell you all in interpreting your dreams and learning how to do so, and interpret other people's dreams. Keep a dream journal. Go back to it and look over it. I can almost guarantee you that you will notice something happening in your life that is parallel to things that you are dreaming. If you have a hard time remembering your dream, one thing that helps me, as soon as you wake up, ask yourself, what did I just dream? Like, literally, you do that, and pieces will start coming back to you. Either stuff that you see or experience throughout the day will remind you of it. And recently, I had a dream that a black dog was trying to get into the house, and I was trying my best to stop this dog from coming in the house because he seemed to be dangerous. But at first, he seemed real friendly, and then all of a sudden, I noticed he was dangerous. And I was trying to get in the house, and finally he got in the house, and I grabbed my kids, and I ran and just tried to get us safe and away from the dog. Well, I really didn't think anything of it, but later on that day, because I had forgot about it after I woke up, later on that day I saw a black dog, and it triggered me to remember the dream. When that happens, that's something you're supposed to pay attention to. It's kind of like the movie Matrix, how he saw the lady in the red dress, how he saw the cat. Things that he was saying, your mind is the most amazing computer. It is. It is a supercomputer, and your mind is always speaking to you, even when you don't know it. So pay attention to those things. Those are some of the main tips that I would give in learning how to do this. So what you think about that? Why don't you chime in?
Yeah, definitely. Not to disregard, there's a difference. Sometimes, some people say, I never dream. I never
dream. I hear
dream.
it all the time. Mm-hmm.
And it can mean one of two things. That's just not one of the ways that the Lord is communicating with you yet. Mm-hmm. Or, he may never communicate with you like that. I know a lot of people who just are not dreamers. However, when they do have a dream, it's something that's a shocker, or it's something very odd. And sometimes it is the busyness of our minds. So either way, we definitely need to pay attention to our dreams, because sometimes they could just send us plain common sense messages. When we dream, a lot of the times we're dreaming out things that our subconscious mind is trying to find a solution to. Mm-hmm. And so it, as a way of, and then a lot of people are like, I get frozen in my sleep. I can't move. Well, sometimes that sleep paralysis, sometimes I do believe it's demonic, and then other times it's also a safety measure that the Lord has blessed us to have with our bodies.
So you don't be out driving to the grocery store while you sleep.
Exactly. Exactly. So it's safety precaution that God has blessed us to have, so that we're not acting out our dreams And sometimes that's faulty because sometimes people do sleepwalk, or sometimes a dream is so intense you just break out of it. And, my brother used to, like, knock stuff down, around him.
Yeah.
But, so sometimes that subconscious mind has to play things out so that you're not stressed the next day. That's why when we say, you know what, this is just an awful day, let me do a do-over tomorrow, you have that REM sleep, your mind is able to just kind of reboot, and you're feeling good all over again. So whether you dreamed or not, or whether you were, if you remember, oftentimes, you're dreaming, but if you don't wake up a little bit out of your sleep, then you won't remember the dream.
Right.
So the waking up is what helps us to remember it. So it's kind of like, but you do want to pay attention to those dreams, because sometimes your subconscious, that guilty conscience can even play out in a dream. Yes. And it helps us, teach us to, on how to be a better person, how to be more attentive to certain people around us. But one of the
especially
things
in relationships.
Yes, and then also not just romantic ones.
Dream that they broke up before they broke up.
Mhm.
I hear that a lot.
And you know what? But you know what? And also with friendships, with parental relationships, family, because a lot of the times, like I had a dream about my grandmother passing. I had a dream about my grandmother and actually one of her best friends passing away, and I was like, well, I know that was random. I wouldn't have a dream about her dying. Let me call her family. So I called her family. I called her my cousin, and I called her, and I let her know. I was like, hey, I don't know what's going on with so-and-so. I said, but I had a dream that she passed away. My dreams really do come to pass. I'm going to pray for her, but I really do believe that that's the Lord saying to go and spend time with her and this and that. And
it's funny you say that, because that just happened to me when my auntie died. Like, I literally dreamed about her 2 days before she died, and I kept saying, I'm going to go see her. I'm going to go see her. And then my dad called and was like, she passed. And I was like, Dad, I just dreamed about her. And so, that's true. Sometimes it's kind of like a phone call from the other side, like, come see me. I'm not going to be here long.
Exactly. And I think, and this happens a lot. This happened with my grandmother. And, I've already seen the deaths of certain people in my life. And here's the thing is that,
me too.
I know, me too. But what it's done, it gives me it helps me to not take their love for granted. It helps me to not take my connections with them for granted. And when I look at it like that, the Lord also will give us dreams to pray and to intercede, because sometimes the enemy is after people. And it's to pray and to say, look, this is no joke. Give them my word. Share the news about the kingdom. It's little things like that. Encourage them where they are, how they are now. Help them to, to see something different. A lot of the times, and that's the thing, we don't take it serious sometimes, because we don't want to spook that person out. We don't want to hurt that person's feelings. But that is a gift that's entrusted to us. And we've failed. I know I have failed. Like, I have not done that. I have not always followed through. I have not always understood how to act urgently in a very calm way, but to not take it for granted. And it's just, it's one of those things that I think that, especially if you dream a lot, you learn to take heed to some things, and you learn to begin to self-analyze. But your dreams can be something that is such a gift to your life. And one of the things that, something that I look at, I think is 2 Samuel 7. It was something that got me in that. It was when the Lord, that's what it was. That's what reminded me. With Samuel, the Lord had come to Nathan, not with Samuel, the Lord had gone to Nathan and was like, go tell my servant David, thus said the Lord, build a house for me to, would you build a house for me to dwell in? And I just, that really stood out to me, because one of the things, like I said in the beginning of the show, is that the Lord really used my dreams to begin to form a sense of connection with him. And it was odd the way it was done, because he was so holy. He would come to me in these in these very odd ways within my dream. And it would even be like to where, because I wasn't even into like demons and stuff like that. I just didn't even really believe in that type of stuff. I did believe in the spirit realm, but I didn't know any details or anything like that. I just really wasn't too aware at that time. But he would start giving me these dreams about like these ghosts chasing me, demons kind of coming after me, being in a house and looking for refuge within a house and just different things like that. So it's funny because it's almost as if the Lord, when I read that scripture, it's like the Lord had been coming to me saying, I am looking for your house to dwell in. I'm trying to clean your house to dwell in you. And it's funny because you don't think about that at the time. And it's funny how the Lord had used a good friend of mine at the time. He had grown up in church all his life, but he wasn't really just living it out at the time. But he was just like, the Lord is trying to speak to you. The Lord is doing something. I don't know what it is, but the Lord doing something in your head. And I didn't know anything about that, and I did not pursue it. However, it came to the point where it was starting to reflect in my life, and in my life things were starting to shift after that dream, and all of a sudden I was not satisfied with the atmosphere that I was within. It was just something very shallow about the atmosphere I was in. It was something very just unsavory now, something that I was a part of and loved all the time, and the clubbing and the partying and the working and this and that and woo, woo, woo. All of a sudden it meant nothing, and it just felt like there was something bigger, and the Lord had begun to show me this in dreams. And they just kind of led me on a journey as opposed to me kind of controlling my thoughts. It was the other way around where my thoughts kind of took me on a little mission. But obviously it was subconscious. But I saw it all acting out and playing out, and as I look back, I can see it. So anyhow, when I say that, when I look at that scripture, thus says the Lord, would you build a house for me to dwell in? Well, in the New Testament, Christ always talks about, we understand how he talks about him and the Father coming to dwell and the Holy Spirit coming to dwell in us, that no longer would he be in a house made of brick, stone, whatever, that we ourselves are his holy temple. And, of course, I didn't know scripture at that time, anything like that. But he was he was coming to dwell, and he was sweeping my house clean. And within 30 days, I think it was about 30 to 60 days, I had a conversation with my mother. This light bulb went off. She told me, she was just like, pray for some godly friends. And then next thing you know, it was within about 30 days after that, my homegirl had come in. She was a Delta, and she ran into another Delta in the AUC because this was in Atlanta. And then I started going to their church, and their church and I just learned so much scripture. And then it all just connected, and that was just from starting to kind of raise an eyebrow to my dreams, things that just started connecting within my spirit. So pay attention to your dreams. And sis, has that happened to you like that, to where your dreams kind of took you on a journey and kind of changed some of the directions and the choices that you've made?
Oh, yeah. I've had dreams made me break up with boyfriends.
Talk about those,
I had
girl.
dreams that, this was before, y'all. I ain't no church girl. I never grew up as a church girl.
Yeah,
so
me
either. Those of you that's new to this, we
neither
have done
one
it
of us
all.
did. Yeah, exactly.
And I was just dead center, just doing me. Whatever I felt, however the wind blew, that's where I went and what I did. And I had this dream that he was forcing himself on me, and I woke up from it, and I was like, that's so strange. Why would he do that to me? And not too long after, we got into a really bad argument, and he acted like he wanted to put his hands on me, and I was like, whoa, that's why I had that dream. That was a warning. And so I would not go to sleep around him first. I was very apprehensive about anything that he would fix me to eat. And sure enough, one night he fixed me some soup, and I don't know what he put in there, but I couldn't move. I was just out of it. And I remember saying, what did you do to me? What did you put in there? And I don't remember nothing after that. And I woke up on the floor. It was cover thrown over me. I was on the floor. I was half dressed. And I just remember putting on my clothes, and someone told me to get out of there. We had moved in together and everything. And, you know, I was just like, wow, I had changed my religion. He was Muslim. So I had started studying the Quran and everything. I kept my hair covered the way he wanted me to. I mean, it was like a serious relationship. And I remember going to my best friend's house at the time, and they didn't believe me. They were like, oh, he would never do that, and he's such a great guy, blah, 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 blah. And I was just like, oh, my gosh, why would I lie about something like this? And so it was traumatic, to say the least. And after that, I started paying attention to my dreams. And at the time, both of my grandmothers passed recently within the last few years. So, but at the time, hold on, I hear the baby crying. I went to my grandmother and told her about the dreams. Can somebody get Kalani, please? Kalila's asleep.
Cheeks.
She's asleep.
Cheeks.
Okay. I'll be on in a minute. I'm sorry, y'all. But I had told my grandma about it, and just blew my mind when my grandmama said, Khamsin, when things happen, I dream them before they happen. And she said, and it has been so traumatic, I asked God to take that away from me. My grandmother was Indian. I can't remember what it's called, beginning with an S, the particular tribe she's from, because we were originally from Cleveland, Ohio. But anyway, a lot of Indian tribes that was there. That's how we migrated in up to Tennessee. But anyway, so I come from a very spiritual, supernatural family in a kind of off way, but I do. And she said she didn't want the premonition. She did not want that ability, and it had tormented her. And so it was taken away from her. And I remember listening to her, thinking to myself, I could use this to help people. I don't want this taken away from me. And that's when I prayed. I said, God, just teach me how to deal with this gift and teach me how to use it and not to misuse it. And so, you know, so I've been doing that ever since. I post my dreams and visions on YouTube. If y'all want to go and check it out, it's interesting because a lot of dreams and visions that I had years ago have came true. Actually, most of them have came true. And I have people that send me links and stuff and say, hey, a dream you had 7 years ago, I saw this on the news, and that's exactly what you dreamed. And I thought it would be interesting for you to see this. So my viewers and stuff have kind of solidified my gift. So pay attention to it. You know, you may not be a dreamer every night, but it just, when it comes to you, and especially if you remember it, that's something you need to pay attention to. And I wanted to mention some of the most famous people who had dreams that came true. Edgar Casey, and he predicted the 1929 stock market crash. Edgar Casey, he was a doctor and kind of psychic. He was gifted, and he dreamed it before it happened. And he told everybody about it, and it definitely happened. Jean Dixon, she predicted JFK's assassination from a dream. And not only that, interesting enough, but she said that she did say that Kennedy would win, and he did. She predicted his assassination. She also dreamed about Martin Luther King Jr.'s assassination, which came true. And she dreamed about the coming of the AIDS epidemic, and she predicted that. I thought that was interesting. And I mentioned Nostradamus earlier. He predicted Hitler's rise to power, among so many other things. Nostradamus was a very, very gifted guy, but he predicted Hitler way before it happened. Jeffrey Palmer, he predicted the 2004 tsunami. A lot of people had dreams about that before it happened.
And 9/11, because there were individuals. Yeah. Yep, 9/11. There were individuals
people had dreams about 9/11.
Yeah, who about and then not going and then got sick that morning and stayed in from work, things like that. Matter of fact, I had a dream. Now this is y'all remember when a bridge fell into the Mississippi a few years ago? It was a bridge that fell into the Mississippi, and I remember
I dreamed about
I had a dream about. I had a dream 2 weeks before it happened, and I was concerned because I was like, oh, my gosh, I have to go across this bridge, you know, because I was going back and forth at the time, you know, for the kids' for their granddad. And so I was just like, what? I had the craziest dream. And so I just prayed because I had to keep going, you know, so I didn't worry about it. And then 2 weeks later, you know, and then not only that, I just prayed over all the bridges, you know, like, but I was thinking only in Tennessee. I was just thinking like around Tennessee, you know, those areas. It was in, I think, what was it? It was in Minnesota or something like that, wherever it runs to. I can't remember. But it was still over the Mississippi. And I said, Lord, just protect us, Arkansas bridges, Mississippi, Memphis, you know, just protect these bridges, Lord. Don't allow anyone to get hurt. And I just prayed, you know, just don't allow anyone to die or get hurt or anything. And sure enough, a bridge did collapse. It collapsed in the Mississippi 2 weeks later, and they had video of it. If you guys actually Google it, you can Google the video of that bridge crashing into the Mississippi. No one was hurt. And so that's why I said sometimes we have to really just pray. And I believe that the Lord honors the prayers of those that are His. He honors the prayers of the humble, you know, who would go to Him and just, you know, ask for mercy, you know, ask for the grace. So yeah, and so some people, you know, because they'll be like, oh, now, because remember after 9/11, everybody was pissed because they were like, oh, y'all had these dreams, but how come didn't nobody do nothing about it then?
Right.
That's why we have to take our dreams seriously.
You can do. Yeah, that's true. We don't.
Yeah.
And, I mean, what can you do? Sometimes it's just for you to prepare for it. You know, I think
not show up yourself
like that.
Yep.
Yeah. Because when a lot of people, when we went through the recession, a lot of people lost their homes and stuff, and a lot of people had dreamed about the recession before it happened. And I remember us dreaming about rough times. So, you know, it happened. Hurricane Katrina. I remember I had a terrible, terrible dream about a lot of water and flooding, and Hurricane Katrina happened. And, you know, I was just like, okay, wow, some accuracy to this. But I also have to say about lucid dreaming. Lucid dreaming
we got to be careful with that one. Yeah, talk about that one.
Some people intentionally try to go into this dream state, and that is very, very dangerous. And I say that because I think when it happens naturally, there's the grace, there's rules to the dream world, just like there are rules to this world. There are laws of physics. I don't care how much you think you are Superman. If you jump your ass off the roof, 9 times out of 10, you are not going to fly because there are laws of physics called gravity. There are laws in the dream realm the exact same way. This realm is no different than the realm we are in, and it's very real. And I have to say, please do not practice lucid dreaming because what you're doing is you're dealing with forces that you do not understand, that no one fully understands. In my case, it happens to me, and I cannot control it. Nothing I can do about it. I have times where my body, I see myself leaving my body. I see myself arriving somewhere else. I have places that I go to in my dreams, and I visit them often. And every time I go to these places, I see the same people. We have a different conversation every time, but it's usually centered around some of the same topics. I have one dream where I go to the swimming pool at a community center in California because it's on the West Coast, so I'm assuming California. There's a lot of Hispanics usually at this community center. And I talk to these young girls who are pregnant, and I have this dream all the time. That there's a difference between dreaming, divine visitation, and it's kind of, you know, the spirit separated from the body. I had a near-death experience also, so I think after you have a near-death experience, I think you become more prone to this happening to you when you sleep because you have separated before. I don't know if that makes sense, but after I had the near-death experience, that's when I started having this happen. And with the astral projection, I cannot control it. When I see it happening, now I just let go. I say a quick little prayer, let go, and whatever I see when I get back, I write it down. Most of the time, I upload it on YouTube and I share it with you all because I want people to pick it apart and experience it because a lot of people aren't believers in this, and so I want people to see how real it is so they don't play with it. It is something. This is something that I don't think nobody that exists on this plane really understands. You shouldn't play around with it. It can be very dangerous. You can bring spirits back with you. For those people who practice lucid dreaming, there are websites that you how to do this. I never did any of that. This is just something that just came natural to me. And I let God use it. It's a perfect example. Not too long, and I did post this on YouTube. I dreamed 3 viruses broke loose in the United States, and 3 to 4 years later, it happened with Ebola, with that retrovirus that was going around, that kids were getting their respiratory system, and it was one other strand of flu. It came true. It happened. So I'm glad I posted it. It was nothing I can do to change it, but God showed it to me. And sometimes people who don't believe in God, when people see people that dream things before they happen and they happen, that opens people up to see there's something greater than us that created us. And sometimes that leads people to believing in God, too. So, you know.
And you know what? Sometimes when it actually happens to you, it is. Sometimes when it happens, because once again, I wasn't a believer when I was seeing that semi running the light, and I saw it happen 2 lights before it actually happened, before the actual intersection where it happened at. And my cousin to this day remembers that when we were coming and it was raining real hard, and she had this little bitty car, and it was like raining hecka hard, like starting to flood areas and stuff. But I saw this semi, I was like, stop! It was coming through the intersection. We had the green light, and I was like, stop! And I grabbed her wheel, and she got mad at me and was like, what the hell is wrong with you? She was like, don't grab my wheel. She was like, girl, you could have killed us, you know. She was like, girl, you scared the mess out of me. And she went off on me, and I was like, girl, I'm so sorry. I saw a truck go through the light like a truck. And I looked, and I was like, I'm telling you, the truck went through that light. Like, I saw the truck go, like it was really happening. And so then we went through the next light, went to the next. Matter of fact, it was on Knight Arnold and, dang, I can't remember, the cross Mendenhall and Knight Arnold or something like that in Memphis. I can't remember if that was it. But anyway, that sounds familiar. Anyhow, so if y'all in M-Town, y'all know where that area is. And sure enough, got to that light, and I saw that truck again. I said, it was the same truck. I said, stop, and I grabbed her wheel, and she hit those brakes. And we were going through the intersection, and she was just like, girl, she instantly, and see, I wasn't into God like that. She instantly was like, girl, God had you see it before it happened, because it had me on alert. Like, and she said, God had you to see it before it happened. And so it kind of was like, oh, okay, well, okay. She started going into praise. Now, I wasn't even nowhere near into that. Like, I didn't care. Like, I was just like, okay, well, I'm just glad we didn't get hit, you know. But I took a note of that. Took a note of that. And I saw, she was like, girl, ooh, thank you. And I was just like, wow, okay. But it was obvious that something bigger had intervened and gave us warning. And so it kind of helped draw me again to God, even though I know nothing about Jesus. And she's over there talking about Jesus, but that was,
yeah. I said, I bet a lot of people had that happen. So I was just getting ready to pick up this call, and they hung up. Y'all, don't hang up. I know it's not going to take us forever to get to the line. I'm so sorry. I was just about to pick it up, and they just
and I can't see.
Call back in if you still listen. Yeah, yeah, because I wanted to see if other people had the same experience. But go ahead. Nobody on the switchboard now.
Oh, see, I feel bad because I can't see because my thing, you know, I'm blinded over here with the switchboard.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I don't know what's going on with that because, you know, if I see it,
I'll let you know.
Let me know because I don't want to talk through. You know, we want to hear other people. So, because I'm still looking to see if you text me or something like that.
Yeah.
Or hit me up through any other means.
Okay.
So
they had held on for a while. Yes, I didn't.
Girl, yes. You know, just tell me. I feel
bad. Okay, I will. I will.
Or some people be calling us while they're at work and they can't.
Yeah. Yeah.
They can't. They can only stay.
You know, another thing that I noticed with dreaming. Sometimes I have dreams. And whatever emotion I was feeling in the dream, I wake up feeling it, and I cannot shake it. If it was a sad dream or something that made me angry, and you wake up angry, your body, even though it's a dream, your body is experiencing that as if it's happening, and you know, as if it's real. And that's another reason why I say you don't have a relationship with the Lord, sometimes when you sleep is the only way he can communicate with you.
Yeah,
because you don't have a mind for him when you conscious.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that. That's just my personal belief. You know, I could be wrong, but I think sometimes that's and also I think sometimes we don't want to believe whatever it is, and the Lord has to show it to us in our dreams to make us be like, you know what? Okay, I can't keep avoiding that. I obviously.
Oh, so true.
You know, it helps push you, give you that extra push to deal with stuff, even with your kids. Like I've had dreams about my daughter getting in trouble at school or something, and it's something I know I need to get in check at home, but I kind of just been looking over it, and the Lord would give me a dream, and I'm like, you know what, let me nip that in the bud now. My dreams have helped me raise my daughter, and I'm so thankful for that because I grew up in so much dysfunction. I really didn't know how. So your dreams not only will your dreams help you, guide you through your life, but your dreams will help you raise your children. That's a very tall, bold confession, but it is true. So pay attention to that. I had a dream a boy sneaked in my window, and my daughter and some friends over here, and guess what? It happened. So pay attention to it. It's not always ludicrous. You may tell your kids, I had a dream you got in trouble at school. And they, of course, their response is going to be, no, Mom, blah, blah, blah. No. So you need to be on guard, paying attention. And 9 times out of 10, they look like they'll get in trouble at school, but it's for preparing you to deal with it properly. Let me check. We just got somebody just chimed in. Let's see if they just listening. They may not have heard the whole show, but I would like to interpret a dream for somebody or see if they got something to add. Area code 914, I see you just tuned in. Are you just listening, or did you have a question about dreams and visions?
No. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. No, I was just listening because I said, oh, my gosh, I said someone's finally talking about dreams on here.
Yes.
I'm like so excited.
Me too.
I had like the 2 craziest dreams. I had one that across the street from me that was a building. It was not a building there. It was just a field of corn. And in the middle of the corn, all I see is all the corn going down like it's dying in the middle.
Wow.
Don't know why.
Wow. Really?
Yeah. Really.
During that day,
so real.
You hadn't watched anything like that would make you dream that, had you? This came out of the blue, right?
This came out of the blue.
Okay. And what, was that recently?
Yes, that happened to me probably 2 days ago, and last night I dreamed that I was on a cruise with my mother, but the thing about it was that it was a cruise there, but it was kind of like a cliff with rocks, and it was just like a heavy deepness of water, like water I never seen before. Like it was so much water. I said, "Oh my God!" And for some reason, me and my mom was crossing that little bridge, and there was a lady that almost the bridge had broke a little bit. It was expanding, and when she went and fell off the little bridge, she was holding on to the rock. So my mom was holding on to the rock and trying to hold the lady's hand at the same time until someone came. And I don't know what I was holding on, but I was like, oh my God, we're going to die.
Yes.
I mean, is your mom always trying to help people? Is she always trying to kind of, and then sometimes, it's kind of, her dream reminds me of the one you just had. It reminds me of the one where I didn't see anything wrong. I was just trying to be helpful, but what it was doing, but that dog was growling at you and was hating on you. And you saw the evil in the dog, but I was just trying to help this lady by picking up a stray dog. And I saw nothing, and everybody was saying, no, but this dog is so gentle, it's so good. Well, it was going to cause hurt down the line.
Exactly.
So sometimes, it reminds. I got to say, I immediately Khamsin's dream that she had earlier, or like middle of this week or so. Yeah. I thought about that. Like sometimes, helping others can cause a breakdown. You have to just kind of let people go. You have to kind of let let other matters fall into the hands of God. Because a lot of times it'll put a strain and a stress on ourselves, and then it'll put a strain and a stress on those immediately around us while we're trying to connect and help others. And there's a time and a place for it. And I don't know, who knows? It's just a matter, like, she could have that solid foundation, but then by trying to do too much, that becomes broken. So I would really be,
I totally agree with you, because that's the first thing that came to my mind. And to add to that, to be specific, there is a specific someone that is in your mother's life that I don't know if your mother knows, but that without a shadow of a doubt, there are things that and feel about people that come into your mother's life, and maybe even other people, and it's things no one else sees it but you, no one else picks up on it but you, and you won't say anything because you're kind of like, well, nobody else mentioned it. I kind of don't want to be the one to rock the boat, so I'm just not going to say anything.
Oh, God, you're really, that is so true.
Is that speaking to you? Okay.
Yes, that speaks to me, because I'm a person, I always, if I feel something's wrong, and especially if I don't like the way someone's doing things and I know that it's wrong, I want to reach out and just tell them, you're wasting your time. What are you doing? And then a part of me says, no, have self-control, pull yourself back a little
You're
bit.
the common sense one. You're common, you're like the black and white. Look, it's black and white. It's plain.
Exactly. And another thing, and don't be uncomfortable with it, though. I don't know how comfortable you got with that, but kind of embrace it. If you can, kind of embrace it and sit in it, because the reason why you're saying it, you are what I call a watchman, and some people
that's what I was about to say.
Placed here and put in people's lives to kind of watch over, and because the people that you care about, they can't possibly see all the things that you so you're sitting at a vantage point where you can see things other people can't see, and so what you do is pray for what you see to be exposed, and also pray that the person who may fall victim, whatever is happening, is spared, and that any damage is not done, where healing can't take place, that they're not broken beyond repair. If that makes sense to you.
Wow, because I've been, I had to tell myself, I kept telling myself, no judgment, no judgment.
That's why
I had to go and actually pray for that person, because I'm like, that's the only thing I could do. I said sometimes I just ask for that person, for someone else to come in to actually deliver the message instead of me doing it, so that they don't get offended.
Yes.
Well, I was gonna.
You are a necessary person in people's lives. Like the people's lives you are in, you are very necessary, and that is wisdom. Please keep doing that. God needs you. He needs to keep doing what He's doing with you. And yes, you are doing the right thing by not rocking the boat. And there are going to be times, and it's not going to be something where it's going to be hard for you to see. You are going to see it with clarity, where God is going to say, rock the boat, rock the boat, rock. Okay? You may risk this relationship with this person, but rock this boat, because it's going to save this person in the end.
So I was just about to say the same thing as Khamsin. Sometimes you are going to have to just tell the truth, but you have to learn and pray how to actually speak it in wisdom. And then sometimes that whole rock the boat, and like she said about the relationship, sometimes the message is greater. It has a greater purpose than the actual relationship itself. And then even with your first dream, your other dream, it's like they're kind of tied in a sense, because you're foreseeing something. Because even how you guys were cruising on nice, it was cool, it was nice, deep waters, whatever. You got to cruise on deep waters if you're cruising, right?
What's funny too? I don't mean to cut you off, but you know that lady from the Real Housewives of New Jersey, that one that went to jail, Teresa? She was in the dream on the cruise too, and that was the first. I'd seen her before I went on that bridge, and she was on like this really dirty trampoline. It was so dirty, but it was big. It was her kids, and her family just jumping on it. And then she just comes up to me and just says hi and shakes my hand and starts talking. And then the next minute I go on that bridge thing. Yeah. And I thought that was weird.
So that made me feel like it may be something that's tied to the person that is needing to be saved. It may be something they're tied in that may be illegal. That's the first thing that came to me. It may be something. It could be a boyfriend that's doing something illegal. It could be somebody not filing taxes like they should, and they are in a lot of debt and gambling debt. It's like, so be watchful for stuff like that. Because a lot of times in our dreams, God will use a person as a symbol of what's happening.
Exactly.
And so, like, for instance, if Elvis pops in my dream, then that he's kind of a symbol for death or drug abuse, a drug overdose. And I just saw Elvis because he was one person that my mind would connect to that particular struggle. So that was the first thing that came to me. And the corn dream, girl, that was very accurate. A lot of times our dreams have double meanings, just like with the Bible and how scriptures have more than one meaning. With the corn thing, it's a drought. They've been predicting this drought that's been coming, and they've been predicting that our produce is going to be heavily affected. That's what you saw. That is exactly what happened.
And then not only that, you said, and then remember you said in the middle. What didn't you say? Like in the middle, it was dying.
In the middle,
like the outside seemed fun.
They were all bending like they were just dying, and I was just like, why are they? Why is the rest of it beautiful, and why is it dying?
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. And see, and that was something that when you look from a normal view, you cannot see the center of a crop. Do you see what I mean? So it's interesting that the Lord has given you. I don't know if it was an aerial view where you were able to see, but you were able to kind of see what was really there. And from the outside, it may seem like there's really no issue, but of course the death is within. And so that really can have a lot of different meanings to it. But for sure, I mean, we already definitely got to pray. You really got to pray and pray.
Definitely. And keep saving food. Keep saving food. I kind of get the feeling you put things aside and you say, okay, well, I'm going to try to stock up on this. I'm going to try to make sure we got plenty of that at home. Keep doing that. So that's definitely on point. Is that connecting? Is that making sense to you? I'm just telling you what I'm hearing. I don't know if you're supposed to be saving food, but you need to be putting up stuff, trying to get your storehouse full, so to speak.
I don't know. I mean, I love to shop for food. That's for sure. But
okay, yeah, me too.
But I was just you know what? It just felt so. That corn thing felt so real to me. I just felt like I was in the moment and I was, looking at it and touching and wondering what the heck. But I don't know. I mean, I wondered to myself. I wondered to myself, is someone not feeling good? Is there someone that it just makes me wonder, like, is there someone hiding something and then they're going to reveal it to me later? I'm like, I just don't know.
Definitely all of that.
It could be someone wanting to sit down and reveal something. I'm like, it feels like, to me, it's something big. I just don't see the big picture.
I totally agree.
But I'm telling you, I just keep feeling like that first dream and your second dream are kind of connected. It's you just being able to, it's you seeing something that others are not seeing, and you're going to see it.
You got a very clear vantage point. Basically.
Yeah, just all you have to do because all you have to do is trust the Lord. All you have to do is trust the Lord and use wisdom and stay praying. I mean, I think one of the things with our dreams is that they're to bring us closer into our prayer closets with the Lord, because a lot of the times we don't study the way we're supposed to. We don't really seek Him how we're supposed to. We kind of watch more TV and listen to more music, and that's not really uplifting as much, or we just get into things that drain our energy, and we really kind of sometimes just have, and God is breaking through to your dreams to say, hey, look, come on, we need to fellowship. There's some stuff about to pop off. And so the more you just trust him and you operate in that wisdom and you pray and you seek and you get in that word, the more and more stronger and more clear everything will flow. Mm-hmm.
Wow, I would definitely do that. And I've been meditating again because I realized when I meditate, that's when doors open for me, and then I always see something. And that's why sometimes I push myself back a little bit and say, okay, but I realized seeing the water and everything and seeing Teresa and stuff, I said, okay, then there's something going on. I mean, maybe later I might find out. Who knows? I'm single, so I'm not with anybody, so I don't know if someone's going to pop up and say, I did this, I did that. I don't know.
Right. But that's why I said this can have many different meanings, and I wish the Lord would give it to me, but I'm not going to say anything that I don't feel like he's given me. So here's the thing. That's something that can be from outside. It can be from inside. Heck, it could be you. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. But you know what? Funny. Sorry for interrupting you, but I've seen my ex-boyfriend's father 2 times in 2 different stores in 2 days, and not yet. I didn't get to say hi. And I said to my mom today, that is so weird. I'm like, what is going on here?
Yeah, it is. It sounds like a disaster that you have avoided and you should keep avoiding until something tells you different. Because if you see somebody 2 times and neither time you get to say anything, it's like, okay, you're great, you're going in the right direction, you're in the right, just keep going that way. You know, I'm not saying to see no contact, but obviously he's an ex for a reason. And obviously it was best for you and him not to be together. And sometimes when that happens, it's okay, hi and bye. But depending on how the relationship was, you know, it may stir up some old feelings. It could be old feelings of resentment because of how he's done you. You are in a good place. You are in a good headspace. And I think that you need to be preserving where you are and don't let anything move you out of this place. You're in one of the happiest places you've been in a while. You are figuring out things. You're kind of getting your footing in life and what you want to be doing. You're in a good place. And that's why you're getting those dreams and visions and stuff and clarity, because your head is clear. And, you know, and not being married, you kind of, your mind is more, your mind is freed up for him to speak to you more. I think people that are married and have the extra earthly responsibility, I think most of their energy and stuff that God uses, he uses for their marriage. But people like us who are single, I think God can kind of speak to us a little more. And he can deal with us on stuff that's going to happen on a national level or, you know, a national disaster or things like that. So you're in a good headspace. I would preserve the space that you are in. It seems that you are in a peaceful place, peaceful enough to see danger coming into other people's lives as well as your own. And that's a good place to be, and you definitely don't want to sacrifice that for something that's not worth it. Can I ask you, how did you come across our show tonight?
You know what? I went on Blog Talk Radio because, you know what? I don't sleep at night, really. So I like to listen. I'm like a night owl, so I'm just up. So I like to listen to different people's shows. And it depends, like, you know what, if they have a good topic and stuff like that, I'll listen to it, or it can be maybe a good friend of mine to have their show on. Then I'll listen to their show and stuff like that. And I love stuff like that. I'm very spiritual.
Awesome.
I'm not a church-going girl, but I just love spiritual things, and it's just like
us too.
I feel like I can connect more with people by on Blog Talk by spiritual things than like in person. Because people will look at me and say, I didn't know you believe in that. Oh, why are you getting so excited over this? Why are you getting so excited over seeing numbers? I'm like,
We are the same way. I'm so glad you came across our show. We are here every Sunday at 10 o'clock at night because we are night owls also. And if you go through the archives, you'll see some of the stuff that we talk about. We keep it archived. and I think you are a good fit to the show. So make sure you tune back in.
Oh, absolutely.
And we also take if people want us to do a show on something specific they want us to talk about, we will do that also. So just go to if you have a Facebook page, just go to Taboo Talk EIB or TTEIB, either one. It'll pull up our Facebook. We have it linked on here also where you can see it in our description. You can go on there and say, hey, can y'all please do a show on this, and blah, 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 blah. And if there is no topic we are afraid to talk about. We are very spiritual also, but we're not like the typical believers. We talk about everything, sexual stuff, crazy stuff, demonic stuff, dreams is nothing we won't touch.
Just an open book. An open book.
Yes. Yes. And I'm so glad you found us tonight. And what state are you calling from?
I'm calling from New York.
Okay, cool. I picked up on the accent. Cool. Yeah, we get a lot of people from up there. Okay.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for joining us, and we'll be back next Sunday at 10. So we'll be looking forward to seeing you pop up, next week.
Oh, I definitely will. Thank you, ladies, so much for taking my call.
All right,
okay,
you have
sweetie.
a blessed one. All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
That's cool. It's good to know that people see the topic and the name of it and like, oh, my gosh, let me jump on there. So we're doing something right, sis. That's good to know. Well, I think we had a good show. I hate I missed the other call, but, like I said, y'all join us on Facebook. Just Taboo Talk EIB on Taboo Talk
TTEIB.
Facebook.
I think it's just TTEIB.
Yeah. It's Taboo Talk. I told you. I'm serious. It is. You can Google it. Taboo Talk EIB. It's not TTEIB.
I always do TTEIB on the Facebook / TTEIB on Facebook. So I don't know. But either way it'll come up. Yeah.
It don't matter. Yeah. Either way you'll find it. So if y'all want to talk about something, just leave it on there. Comment on there. We try to be interactive with you all. And we'll be back next Sunday at 10. Did you have anything you want to go out with?
Well, just remember that Daniel 2:28, he talks about, he says, however, there is a God in heaven who reveals mysteries. And so, just understand that, and he reveals mysteries across the board. And I truly believe that our dreams are to bring us closer to him. It is to give us awareness. It's to give us warning. It's out of his grace and out of his mercy that he'll give us these things. So you guys, when you dream, just pray. Just really pray to the Lord. We're Jesus freaks. We love Jesus. Pray in the name of Christ where the power of God is. And you just, where it's manifested. And y'all know that is uncovered will be revealed. You know what I mean? Just trust that when you pray and you seek God about these dreams and these visions and these happenings, it's for a reason. So anyway, y'all be sure y'all check out my page, Wisdom in Red, on Facebook, and for sure TTEIB on Facebook or Taboo Talks, Khamsin on YouTube, and
if y'all want to check out my dreams, go on there.
Because she's got a
crazy.
Yeah. Definitely go to her page.
And I have a whole playlist of all the dreams that came true. I put them all together in the playlist on YouTube, so you can see my visions that came true, and you can check them out, and you can match them up with the actual dream. So keep the dream journal too, you all. Start jotting stuff down because it may be something really important in your dream that you need to pay attention to. You may forget about. So don't forget to keep your dream journal. And for those of you who forget your dreams or have a really busy life, when you wake up, as soon as you wake up, just ask yourself, what did I just dream? And usually distant people will come back to you. All right, we love y'all, and we will be back next Sunday at 10 p.m. Central. We'll be looking forward to hearing from you all. I don't know what we're going to talk about next Sunday. We'll just kind of play it by ear and play about whatever you all want to hear. So we're going to go out with Foreign Exchange by Selah, the Corner in Business.
I love Selah. I love Selah, the Corner.
Selah. Yeah. You know I tear his name up.
Classic. Oh, I don't know. Hey, guys.